Hello and welcome back for the very first time in 2021, and welcome back to Gran Turismo Sport. It's the first time I've actually done any daily races or FIA races since I believe December of 2019, so it's been over a year since I last got involved in this side of Gran Turismo Sport, and I thought, hey, 2021, it's a brand new year, what better time to jump back in, find out how the game is travelling, what's changed, what's been updated, and also check out things like the penalty system. So I thought I'd start off with the daily race B for this week, which is a GR3 race around the Barcelona circuit. I don't have a huge amount of cars on this account, it is my second account, so I thought I would start off by jumping into the Toyota. Now the Toyota overall, over the course of the whole lap, was not a bad car, and I was able to generate a fairly decent lap. You can see I'm starting on pole position. But in a straight line, it severely lacks speed. And you can see the way that Aston Martin has gone past me like a rented mule. So it was always going to be a little bit tougher, and sometimes, even though you can generate a decent lap time in a particular car, until you actually get out there and race with it, you don't understand the nuances of it, and sometimes it is completely useless to have a car that's fast in the corners if you're always stuck behind the cars that are overtaking you on the straights. But as you saw, Lewis was able to use the vastly superior straight line speed of the Aston Martin to blast past me off the line, and I'm going to want to try and get back in front as soon as I can. But it's all about where you overtake. You've got to try and pick your spot. If you do it on the last corner, he's just going to fly back past you on the straight. So I need to overtake in a spot where I have a few corners to try and gain a big enough advantage to break the slipstream as well, because trust me, as fast as the Aston Martin is in a straight line compared to the Toyota, you put him in my slipstream and I'm in big strife. So what I've done there is get a better corner exit. I've used a little bit of slipstream, and I've just put the nose up the inside, taking it nice and easy not to run too deep. But Lewis was very accommodating, stayed on the outside, although I've nearly thrown it away trying to get back on the power on the exit there. But we'll fast forward a little bit further, and you can see I didn't quite get a big enough gap. He has come from 3 or 4 tenths back, and he is able to just rip up beside me. But I did hold him to the left-hand side of the track. Nearly ran deep into turn 1, don't worry about that. But again, wasn't able to gap him enough into here, and if you keep an eye on the radar there, it's not just Lewis, but in fact it is Daddy Shark who comes yeeting in from about 2 weeks ago, smashes into the side of me, even though I already deliberately stayed wide to try and avoid that contact, pushes me off the track. I lose both spots to first and second, and you'll notice that he got no penalty for that. So it's good to see the Gran Turismo penalty system still working beautifully, and I must take the mental note that if I want to get in front, I need to just outbrake myself, smash into the side of people in the corner. Again, going into that, you can see this time it is Lewis taking the big dive. He gets a little bit too wrong, so these guys are going to continue to bicker. I'm keen to get past, but the problem is they've both got a lot more grunt than me on the straights, and you know, I'm thinking at this stage I just need to let them fight it out, battle, and hopefully they'll put each other off the track or in the wall or something. So I'm just trying to stay close but out of trouble. So they have a bit of a collision there. Unfortunately, Daddy Shark stops on the track, having collided with Lewis, and of course I get a penalty. So it's fair to say at this point I was fairly frustrated with the game, with Gran Turismo Sport, and I'm like, great, nothing's changed. And then I just cocked up myself. First race back, and I think I lost my head a little bit, made a big mistake, and anyway, things didn't go particularly well, and unfortunately I lost a few more spots as I was trying to recover and made it back to 8th position. Not fantastic, but that's okay. Let's go again for race 2. Now you'll notice I've had quite enough of the Toyota. I decided to change car, this time to the Lexus, thinking it might have a little bit more straight line speed. Nothing wrong with the Toyota, and the overall lap time was good, but it was very difficult to race with such a low top speed. So switch to the Lexus. You can see the Aston Martin still has plenty of grunt to come up alongside me. He holds the inside line. We both allow each other some racing space, and actually a very good overtaking manoeuvre there by Lewis, so congratulations to him. We both gave each other plenty of space, and we had a nice little exchange. Now, of course, the Aston did have the slipstream off the line there, so I don't want to put too much stock in it, as I just take a little hit in the rear from fast Virgo behind me. But again, I'm going to want to try and get past Lewis. as soon as I can. I kind of feel like in these short format 4-lap races, you got to make things stick fairly soon. Now, I was able to get in his slipstream, and unlike the Toyota, which could only just hang on to the same space, it did actually bring me up towards the back of Lewis. Through this section is not good to overtake, so I thought if I just stick close and try and put a little bit of pressure on him, hopefully he'll make a mistake and get that job done. You might notice on the leaderboard there on the left-hand side as well, it's our old friend Daddy Shark, who is back, making me a little bit nervous. At least at this stage he is still 2.5 seconds back, but now I wasn't actually looking for an overtake here, but you'll notice about mid-corner Lewis realises he's starting to run wide and he gets hard on the brakes and tries to turn it in sharp. Unfortunately, there was no way for me to avoid contact there. I just gave him a very slight nudge, not enough to get a penalty, but it was enough for me to then stick the nose up the inside, maintain that inside line through the next left-hander, and I was able to exact that overtake, which was lovely. And I just really wanted to sort of clear out at the front here, and spoiler alert, that is exactly what I did. So I'm not going to show you the rest of the race because I just kind of went on to win by 2.5 seconds, something like that. All very boring affair, but it's lovely to clock up that first victory of 2021. Pole position, clean race, and a victory, a clean sweep. That's what I was looking for. And now we move on to the third and final race. And you'll notice I'm actually not starting out of pole position, so I didn't expect to recognise any of the names from people I used to race with back in 2019 and 2018, but I actually did recognise S. Bradley there in 7th, and also Mr. Natty Gaines, who's out-qualified me. Now, I've actually had races in the past, many races against Natty Gaines, so when I saw him pop up, I thought that was quite cool. And I also figured I'd have a fairly tough race on my hands here with him being able to pinch that qualifying position. And Lewis has also joined us for the third race again. This time he didn't manage to get past me on the front straight. And I think that's because I had the slipstream of Natty Gaines in front of me. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Natty was a little bit wayward on his first lap. You can see him running very, very wide there, and he ran wide on the previous corner as well. So again, the strategy with these short 4-lap races is to get to the front as soon as I can. You can see a huge over-rotation of the rear tyres from Natty there as he comes out of that corner. Somehow he didn't lose any pace. Every time I've ever done that in Gran Turismo Sport, I have inevitably lost drive, lost acceleration, and people have overtaken me. He seemed to lose nothing out of that, but anyway, again, the strategy to try and get back in front as soon as I possibly could. I waited for the last minute to try and pull out in the hairpin. I didn't go in too deep there, but unfortunately Natty mustn't have seen me because he turned right in to take the apex on the corner where my car was already positioned well and truly up next to him. And you can see I have fast forwarded to the end of the race here because I just pulled away. They just had their own fight. I'm 7 odd seconds in front here and was able to just cruise through for a second victory of the day. No pole position this time, still a clean race, so it was good to get a couple of wins on the board. I still don't think I've felt the full power of Gran Turismo Sport and how it goes, so we might come back and reinvestigate this with some more races, maybe an FIA race. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a like, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you get notified when I do post content, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.